G'day guys and gal. The unfortunate reality of Tyranid lore is that while they are a fun, interesting faction, their lore isn't very deep, as they lack that sense of individuality and character that other factions have. A Tyranid POV book would literally just be nom 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 for like 1,000 pages. However, that isn't to say that they are completely lacking in the individual character department. Whether through experimentation, mutation, or complete tomfoolery, there is a number of unique named Tyranid characters that are unlike any other Nid out there. Unique Tyranids who are exceptionally powerful and are probably the closest thing we'll ever get to named Tyranid characters. The most exciting part is that with the new Tyranid models coming out for 10th edition, a lot of these named Nids will likely get their own models, either released for the first time or updated for the first time in like 20 years. Maybe being a Nid player will finally be socially acceptable. Before we get started, happy Monday. To get you through the start of the week blues, I'm happy to announce the release of the Major Minis Xenonid Tyrant Queen, the largest, girthiest, and deadliest of the Xenonids to date. This completes the initial roster of the Xenonids, which features the Raptors, Warriors, and now the Tyrant Queen. You can get this deadly Sheila as either a standalone model or in the new Xenonid Battle Box Value Pack, which gives you a Xenonid army off the bat with a significant discount over buying the models individually. That is the Xenonid range complete for now, but if the demand is there, more Xenonids will come out. I do have to couple this sexy release with some unfortunate news. For reasons I can't yet disclose, I will likely be removing all Major Mini STLs from the website this week, as well as a few of the actual models. For those that have bought the various STL packs, I will continue to update them for free. However, by the end of this week, there's a high chance that the packs and individual STLs will no longer be available for sale ever again. Physical models that will likely be removed include the Space Lion models, as well as the Lord of the Night and the Space Elf Scorpion Lord. I'm hoping this doesn't end up being the case, but I'm giving you guys and gals the heads up now, since this may be the last chance to get a hold of these models before they're gone forever. Link for everything is in the description below. Today we'll go over each of the unique Tyranid characters, going over their lore, how they were created, and where they are today. We'll also discuss why the Tyranids don't just spam these elite unique forms, since they are generally way stronger than normal Tyranids. Let's get into it. Each unique Tyranid stems from an existing form. For example, the Swarm Lord is a Hive Tyrant and the Red Terror is a Ravina, and so on. So they can be considered to be unique upgraded versions of existing Nids. Speaking of the devil, the first and greatest of the unique Tyranids is the Swarm Lord, the apex predator of the Tyranids and the closest thing they have to a physical faction leader or a Primarch-like character. Hive Tyrants are already the cream of the crop, but the Swarm Lord takes this a step further. Actually, it takes this like 100 steps further, as normal Hive Tyrants are considered to be spittles of cum on a horse skirt compared to this bad boy. The Swarm Lord is the Hive Mind's vessel. As such, it actually has somewhat of a personality and individual thought process compared to a normal Tyranid, which are just given commands from the Hive Mind. It's larger, stronger, and faster than a regular Hive Tyrant, with a much stronger synapse connection to the surrounding Tyranids. As long as the Swarm Lord is alive in a system, all Tyranids within it will be working at maximum efficiency and effectiveness. Its bone blades are also upgraded, having a crystalline growth within it that can cut through force fields and adamantium like a 9,000 degree knife through butter. The kicker is that this guy can't actually die. Whenever it's killed, its consciousness and memories are downloaded back into the Hive Mind, and then the Swarm Lord is remade on whatever Hive fleet requires its help. Hence he remembers each and every one of his deaths, learning and evolving from it. No Swarm Lord reincarnation is the same. It progressively gets thicker armor, sharper blades, and whatever other points of evolution it needs to avoid suffering the same demise twice. Sure, it does cost a shitload of effort and biomatter to rebuild him each time, but it's a small price to pay for how much of an asset he is. As far as I know, the Swarm Lord has been killed 6 times, once by Marnius Calgar, twice by other Ultramarines, once by Prince Uriel of the Eldar, once by a Custodian Shield Captain, and once by Dante. However, there is a rumor that a new Swarm Lord is on the horizon, the Apex Swarm Lord, who was ascended to Primarch tier as a result of the carnage during the Octarius War. That'll be a spicy new model. Hive Tyrants aren't the only heavy hitters in the Tyranid roster. There is also the Carnifexes, with the greatest of them being Old One Eye, a seemingly unkillable Tyranid Carnifex that has been a huge pain in Ultramar's ass for years. It emerged as the Apex Carnifex during the Tyranids' first invasion of Ultramar, and it copped a plasma bolt to the face that melted its eye and brain. But he survived! It was frozen in an icy chasm which was found by some smugglers who thought defrosting the beast was a good idea. Spoilers, it was a fucking shit shit idea, as Old One-Eye quickly regenerated and ate their asses. The newly awoken Old One-Eye was cut off from the hive mind, but still had enough instinct, intelligence, and individuality to begin raiding and attacking settlements and convoys on Calth. Other surviving Tyranids that were in hiding flocked to Old One-Eye, and now suddenly shit was getting serious. Eventually, the Ultramarines had to return to finish the job, however couldn't cause meaningful damage until they once again shot him in the same eye, the only part of him that never regenerates. However, having a melted brain twice over wasn't enough to put Old One-Eye down, who continues to randomly pop up and plague Ultramar here and there, reportedly being killed over a dozen times. It's unclear how Old One-Eye gained its invulnerability, but the leading theory is that in making it an Apex leader Khan effects for the invasion, the experimental creation developed some powerful unintended mutations. I've talked about the Doom of Malantai a couple times now, by far the most retarded bit of Eldar lore there is, but it did produce a pretty fucking gnarly unique Tyranid, so there's that. The craft world of Malantai was engaging a weakened Hive Fleet Naga. As the Hive Fleet was being destroyed, the Tyranids fired a last barrage of Nids at the craft world. The craft world is isolated and killed the warrior and beast forms with relative ease, not really bothering to thoroughly purge the entire ship or follow up with the small slug forms that they thought would just die on their own, isolated from the hive mind. However, one of these slugs was an experimental Tyranid zoanthrope that fed on souls and psychic energy rather than flesh, blood, shit, and cum. It was small, so was able to sneak into the craftworld's infinity circuit that was full to the tits with Eldar souls, before then devouring enough to low-key become a god that proceeded to then destroy the entire craftworld, hence its name Doom of Malantai. This lore is kinda dumb for numerous reasons. A, because you'd think a craftworld would post guards around the infinity circuit, the most precious part of a craftworld, especially after a big battle, and B, surely they sensed something was fucked before the Nid was able to devour their circuit. It's also kind of a waste. The Doom of Malantai hasn't been seen since, and likely just overloaded from the amount of energy within it. Either way, bit of a grim moment for the Eldar and a wasted opportunity to have a unique Tyranid boss unit floating around, chowing down demons and souls. Some people say that the Tyranids aren't evil, as they are just acting on their basic desire to consume and reproduce. Well, those people are fucking retarded, and the Death Leaper proves it. Lictors are already terrifying, stealthy Tyranid assassins and hunters, but the unique Lictor, the Death Leaper, took this another step. On the world of St. Caspelin, the Death Leaper was unleashed. It knew that killing the world's leader would just inspire the world's defenders, so instead it massacred the leader's advisors, bodyguards, friends and family surrounding him every night for 10 days. No matter how much security, bunkers or defense was erected, the Death Leaper got in every time, leaving the leader as the sole survivor. Eventually, this broke the leader's sanity, thus ruined the world's morale, making it easy pickings for Hive Fleet Leviathan. That is some sadistic shit. The Death Leaper was larger and more powerful than normal Lictors, with significantly more advanced camouflage abilities, allowing it to more or less go invisible and undetectable. All in all, absolute nightmare fuel. But not as much a nightmare fuel as the parasite of Mortex. This unique Tyranid was the result of the modification of a Tyranid warrior to make it more powerful, faster, more durable, with wings and an extremely horrifying stinger. On the fortress world of Mortex, Hive Fleet Kraken couldn't break the extremely defensive lines of the Imperials. There was just too many trenches, walls, guns and other nasty shit. Hence the Hive Fleet created the Parasite of Mortex, a fast-flying beast that would swoop into Imperial trenches, inject as many guardsmen with a unique Ripper virus as possible, then fly to the next trench. Within seconds, the virus would hatch Tyranid Rippers in the guardsmen bodies who would eat their way out rapidly, causing trenches to get flooded with the Rippers extremely fast. Once the Parasite got involved, the Imperial defenders were overwhelmed and the world was lost. Fucking OP as shit, Jesus Christ. The Parasite of Mortex hasn't been seen since, much like the Death Leaper, Doom of Malantai, and more other unique Tyranid forms. When the Tyranids were invading with different hive fleets, they would often experiment with new forms before entering them into mass production. The Red Terror was a prototype for the Ravina and Morlock Tyranid forms. It was dropped off at a mining world and then proceeded to terrorize the shit out of the planet, burrowing through mining areas to massacre everyone it could, consuming them and growing larger and larger. Eventually, it got on board a refugee refugee ship, killing and eating everyone on board before then proceeding to massacre the world that the refugee ship landed at. It has since gone missing, likely hibernating under the world it had just killed, waiting for more people to chomp on if the world ever gets resettled. It seems like such a waste for GW to introduce all these pretty sweet and powerful unique Tyranids, only to never mention them again or give them up-to-date unique models. Only the Swarm Lord regularly reappears. But is there an in-law reason for this? Why doesn't the hive mind mass produce these overpowered Tyranid forms? Well, it kind of does to a degree. All Carnifexes are now given powerful regenerative abilities from Old One-Eye, whilst the Red Terror was the prototype for a number of large burrowing forms. However, these unique Tyranids take a lot of time, effort, and biomass to reproduce. They are also very situational. The Death Leaper wouldn't do very well against Space Marines, in comparison to the biomass required to produce it. Neither would the Doom of Malantai. They also run the risk of upgrading their Tyranids too much, only for the Imperium to develop a new strategy that beats them. Hence, the Tyranids may end up in a situation where it costs a fuckload of biomass for them to produce a bunch of parasites of Mortex, only for the Mechanicus to create a very powerful anti-air Tyranid gun that shreds them. There's a reason why the Tyranids don't just make hive tyrants, and it's a similar reason as to why they don't blow all their loads, mass producing unique experimental Tyranids. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a Major Mini. This could be the last chance to pick up the STLs as well as a number of the physical models. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more unique NID content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.